Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, we're here to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. We're going to do that by helping you live with intention, help you reshape your mindset, and help you look at the world through a grateful lens. So I want to say thank you for tuning in every week, every Monday, every Mindset Monday. You know, oftentimes people kind of are stressed and they need something good to fill them up with some good energy. And that's why we release these on Mondays, so that you can win the week by winning the day. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you always get notifications, because I know Mondays are busy and you may forget to listen. But just know that we all need reminders. I have reminders on my phone all the time to do different things, and including listening to podcasts. So this week, I am super excited to talk to you about a topic that I just see everywhere right now. And there's opportunity here for sure. The topic is this very famous quote that comparison is the thief of joy. And the reason why I say this is so important is these days with social media, we have more access to compare ourselves and our lives to other people than we've ever had before. There is this natural sense, it's a human sense, to compare yourself to others. It's kind of what we do to kind of figure out where do we fit in social groups. And, you know, there's new things that come up whenever we recognize that, you know, somebody has something new or something different. So I'm not saying that comparison is a bad thing, because sometimes it helps us increase what we're doing, helps us improve. Maybe it inspires us. So comparison isn't a bad thing. But when comparison becomes a negative thing for you and your headspace, and it actually steals your joy because of what you've accomplished, maybe somebody else has accomplished more. If that starts to, you know, kind of take away the joy that you have from any accomplishment that you have, or maybe you see somebody else who has more than you and then you feel less. That's what I'm trying to move you past today. So this idea of comparison, like I said, on social media, I want to kind of talk about what that looks like, because I don't want to be another example of that for you on social media. I don't post a lot of my personal life. I just kind of post these messages, and some of it's so that there's no comparison that your life to mine. Now, if you're comparing your mindset to mine, that's up to you. But what I'm trying to do is share more of my mindset and what I do and all the work that I do to inspire you that you can also have a different mindset if you want to. Not that you have to. My mindset isn't better than anybody else's. It's just different. And I haven't always been in this mindset. I've worked on it. But what happens on social media typically, and this is what people do, this is what influencers do, not pointing a finger, because it kind of aims at a certain thing about us. On social media, we post the most successful aspects of our lives. We often post the perfect meal, the perfect picture, the perfect vacation, all of these different things. So we post our highlights because we want other people to see our highlights, which dehumanizes our actual life. And so as you sit and you scroll through social media or you watch other people succeed, all we're seeing is the outcome. We're seeing how their life is different than ours, because we see every moment of our lives, but all social media shows you typically is the highlights of other people's lives. They don't show you that they took 17 pictures because they felt terrible about how they looked in the other 16. They don't show you that we record like this episode. Brian and his team does a great job of making it look and sound as great as possible for you. There's always something that we don't know about what we see on social media. So don't let that gap between what you see versus your life be something that makes you feel less about your life. That's where the joy being stolen, the thief of joy, comes from when you start comparing. Because you're not comparing the same thing. If you compared their everyday life to your everyday life, you'd realize there's not that much of a difference. There's a small difference maybe, but maybe there's things about your life that those people would be envious of if they actually got to see it. And so we have this sense of when we maybe accomplish something that somebody that we admire has accomplished, then you'll be happy. But then you meet that person and they talk about their struggles. And then you start to realize, oh, well, maybe there's more to the story. So the other thing about comparing is we often compare just the outcome and we lose sense of what it took to achieve that outcome. Maybe this person worked for a year to put on one post, and then all we see is the one post and we think it was easy. This idea of an overnight success and all these different things. So we start to think that we can't accomplish things because other people did it faster than us, which isn't true. Maybe we don't know how long it took. I've been doing this work on my own mindset and in my own life and growing every day for 11 years. I have a lot of people that they ask me questions about how did I shift my mindset? How did I do all these things? And then I talk to them about my perspective and how I see the world. And then they kind of like, oh, well, shoot, I can't think like that. And I don't feel like that. I didn't either originally, but I've read, listened, humbled myself, healed from the things I needed to heal from. And that's just honest. And I always want to give you as much of a real truth to this process of healing and growing, because that's probably where you are. That's where we all are. It's not that I read one book and then I was healed. If somebody gives you that impression, they just aren't really willing to talk about all the work that they did. So I don't want to sell you anything. I'm trying to share my story, my message, my change of mindset, my transformation of mindset, trying to share it with you so that you also can believe that it's possible. The other part about social media and really just every day in the world is we have lost sense of ourselves. We don't really know sometimes even what we like because we're trying to focus so much and trying to be like someone else. There's a big difference between trying to be like someone and trying to be someone that's not you. So don't fall into the trap of trying to emulate someone so much that you lose your sense of yourself. And again, I'm going to be fully, I'll have full ownership of this, that we are externally stimulated so much now that we rarely have a sense to just be ourselves. Yes, a podcast is something that people listen to, but they listen to it so that they don't have silence. Yes, they go to social media so that they can be entertained and quick fix of doing certain things. But what that's doing slowly but surely is numbing ourself to ourselves. Because you're hearing what I'm saying and you're seeing what I'm doing and you're seeing what all these other people are doing, but you don't actually spend enough time to really learn more about yourself. And there was a study done where they were trying to get people to see how long they could sit in the room with nothing by themselves. They originally said, we're going to put you in this room by yourself for 15 minutes with no external stimulation. Every single person, there were 50 people in the study, every single person said, absolutely not, get me out of this room in less than 5 minutes. We can't be by ourselves with our own thoughts for 5 minutes. That was mind-boggling to me. But it also made me realize it's because right now we have our phones with us everywhere. We have some sort of external stimulation all the time. So we don't really know ourselves well enough. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the secret to not comparing yourself to other people is knowing who you actually are. Once you know who you are, you don't compare yourself to other people. You may be inspired by them, but I don't compare my success to anybody else's because I know what I'm doing and all the work I've put in. I get inspired by other people's success. I don't get threatened by it. But if you find yourself judging yourself based on looking at other people, and if you find judging other people, it's because you don't really know yourself. If you know yourself, you're not going to be threatened by other people. I'm going to say that one more time because there's so much judgment these days. If you are judging other people, criticizing them, making fun of them, it's because we haven't settled in to really know who we are. Because once you know who you are, you stop looking at other people and you stop bringing other people down to your level of not knowing who you are. We criticize other people because it makes us feel better about who we are, because we're not really willing to sit down and own who we are. And the reason why I can tell you this for a fact is if we don't have something inside of us, we can't project it outwards. We always project. These days, whenever I see other people succeeding, I am so inspired, not by their success, but by who they had to become to make such an impact in the world. See how I'm not threatened by them. I'm inspired by them, not by their outcome, but by how much they've grown. I've watched their journey. I really want to invest in them and learn from them. But once you understand who you are, you don't find the need to compare yourself to somebody else, because there's always going to be somebody else who has more than you, and there's always going to be somebody who has less than you. And if you criticize either one of those people, it's because you don't actually know you. And a couple of examples of these moments of clarity. For example, when I have countless people tell me they have the best thoughts while they're on a road trip. They have the best thoughts while they're in the shower, and they have the best thoughts when they're on a run. It's because we're not judging ourselves during those moments. We're just with ourselves. Nobody takes their phone to the shower. Why all of a sudden can we think clearly? It's because we're not getting external stimulation. We're not comparing our thoughts to somebody else's thoughts. We're just having our thoughts. So spend some time just being by yourself. I was listening to a guy talk the other day that said, if he doesn't take his phone with him to the bathroom, he panics. He feels like he has to have it on him all the time. I'm not saying that that's normal. I don't know. It's not a thing for me, but it's a matter of, if you have so much dependence on looking at other people's lives, you're never going to really have a full appreciation of you and your life, no matter what it looks like. The real joy in life comes from being present. So when you go for a hike, I talked about the Grand Canyon earlier, but when you go for a hike, that clarity that you have, that I'm just exercising, I'm just working, all of a sudden our brain's clear. We have our best thoughts because we don't have the self-limiting beliefs. We're just creative in that space because we're not surrounding ourselves with external judgment, even though it's internal judgment about external things. So take back the feeling of, what do you like? What do you want to wear? What kind of food do you actually like eating? Don't fall into this, somebody else eats this, so I should eat that. If you don't, what do you like? I ask people countless times, and I'm asking you now, what brings you joy? I'll be honest, most of the time when I ask people this question, they say, what do you mean? They don't know what brings them joy, because we don't give ourselves enough freedom of thought to actually experience joy, because we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. Your business, your life, your relationship, your house, your car, your finances, your body. Just love it for what it is. Look at how much you've grown. Look at how much you can grow. Be grateful for where you are. Cheer other people on. Don't be so threatened by them. But the only way to not be threatened by them is to better understand yourself and spend more time with yourself. So again, comparison being the thief of joy. Comparison is a choice we get to make, and we don't have to fall into that if we don't want to. So as somebody who contributes to social media, I hope you set boundaries. I hope you set some time for yourself. So as you're listening to this, think about how you can set time aside for yourself every day to better understand yourself. Study yourself. Study what brings you joy. Study the things you need to heal from. Study your own feelings. What do you love to do? Because that is when you're going to be at your best, and that is when you're going to be the most you for the people that you're the most grateful for, that love you already. They're not comparing you to anybody else. We just sometimes need to get out of our own way and stop comparing our lives to other people's lives and just appreciate who we are, what we are, and where we're going. So I hope this episode gave you an opportunity to bring your shoulders back and bring your chin up and just take a deep breath in and just recognize who you are. That's why meditation is so powerful, because it puts you into a space of your own thoughts, because we don't do that enough these days. So I hope this inspires you to not compare yourself to other people. If you're going to compare yourself to who you were yesterday and just try to get a little bit better every day. You deserve that. You don't deserve to compare yourself to other people that you don't even really know the full story. So go to social media to inspire yourself, not to compare yourself. Hope this episode inspires you. Send it to somebody because I guarantee you we all need this reminder. And I hope that as you start this Monday with this episode, you don't compare your week to somebody else's week. You don't compare your productivity to anybody else's or your relationship to anybody else's. You are enough as you are and as you continue to grow. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. I'm going to keep giving you more episodes like this every week, every Mindset Monday. And most importantly, I'm going to remind you, because we need this reminder as we get externally stimulated all the time, that you always have the power and the choice to live with intention, reshape your mindset, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.